How did you steal Sarah's memory? Question mark.
Hey!
Oh my God, how cute.
Okay, give me a second here, because what I need to do is, I'm on my husband's iPad, and it's like, all right, let's start to breathe. Inhales and exhales. It is a beautiful day out today, so my thought is kind of picture that beauty of the exterior, of the outside, of the birds singing and the leaves gently rustling, and allow that to be kind of the interior focus as you start to settle in. If you are in child's pose, you have two choices. You can keep the knees together, or you can take the knees wide apart. Another nice thing that you can do, if you have it, is to take a cushion, and you could set that on the calves and sit back. A lot of times that makes it a little softer for your child's pose. So I'm going to join you down in child's pose, and we'll just start to breathe. And extend your arms out long if you want a stretch across the upper shoulder blades. Or if your shoulders are feeling a little tight, maybe take your arms behind you and just rest your face on the mat or even on a pillow. If you are feeling like the balls of your feet and the entire instep of your foot is feeling a little tight, you could always tuck your toes behind you and open up the feet a little bit, sitting the hips to your heels, and then extending out into your child's pose. So however you feel most comfortable, let's take a few breaths here and really start to bring the energy down and to focus internally. I realize that this whole new normal that we're all adjusting to is probably a little stressful. I know for me, the response to stress is chocolate. Not a good response. It should be yoga. So why don't we try to focus on good responses to our stress, like breathing deeply, or taking a moment. And I really suggest, especially for people who are working at home, get up, walk around, even walk outside if you have a backyard or even the front yard, and just take some deep breaths there. That'll shake off some of the cobwebs. We have a tendency to become very cloistered and we almost nest when we are in these situations. And it's really healthy for us to break that up and try to make our life as normal as possible, keeping as much routine as we possibly can in our lives. So deep inhales and deep exhales. And then just to start to bring some movement, let's start to bring our hands over to the right side of the mat. If you'd like, you could place the left hand on top of the right hand, just feeling that stretch through the left side body. And then let's slowly walk through center, all the way over to the left side, and take that right hand on top of the left, opening up the right side body. And then let's slowly walk through center again. And we're going to crawl our hands back towards our knees. We're going to come to sit on our knees. Let's pull the navel into spine, tuck the tail, drop the shoulders back and down. I'll change my seating focus. I'm going to bring my knees together for this, but you could also be more in a saddle pose with the knees wide. But the key here is to keep the shoulders back and down, pulling the belly in. Let's take the hands, we're going to clasp them behind us, and then we're going to bring them over to the right side and start to squeeze our elbows together. Tuck your chin, just getting a nice little stretch here. Breathing here. Your hands are about at your waist, and you're bringing your elbows together. 4, 3, 4, 2. And 1, we'll release and bring our hands over to the left side, pulling the navel into spine and pulling our elbows back towards each other. Breathing here. 4, 3, 4, 2. And 1. We'll bring our hands out in front of us. And then just to wake up the feet, let's tap them onto the mat. And since we're here for a moment, wrists underneath the shoulders, navel into the spine. Let's extend the right leg back, the ball of the foot onto the mat. Let's just open up those calf muscles, stretch out the hamstrings. Don't forget to really keep that lower belly engaged. Breathing here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll set that knee back down and extend the left leg back. And just a little rocking back and forward. Opening up the ball of the foot, the calf, and the hamstring. Making sure that lower belly is in. And then knee down. Tucking our toes. And let's take a really good cat pose. So push those toes into the mat, take your fingertips into the mat, and round the back. Big, beautiful stretch here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll transition to a seated position. Let's extend our legs out in front of us, and let's find our staff pose. So sitting up tall, hands down by the hips, we're going to just push into the mat, flex our toes back towards our shins, tuck the chin to the chest, and breathe here. Taking the biggest inhales and exhales, your Ujjayi breath. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relaxing. Let's just shake out those ankles, maybe rotating them in one direction and then rotating them in the other. Bringing our right knee in towards the chest. Let's hug it in here. And we'll take a gentle twist. So we'll take the left arm around the right leg, right arm up and back. And let's just take a gentle twist. This is not your strongest twist, but push down into the foot to lift the chest. And then exhale, beginning to look over the back right shoulder. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently coming back to center, extending the legs, shaking them out. We'll take a twist to the other side. Just opening up the body. So that initial hugging in is going to allow you to sit up tall, flexing the right toes back towards the shins. And then wrapping right arm around left leg, left arm up and back. Lift to inhale, exhale and twist, and just breathe. Deep inhales and deep exhales. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's exhale to center. Shaking out the legs, shake out the arms. All right. Shoulders. Let's do some shoulder work. Taking our shoulders up, back, down. Make sure you're pulling in the spine and flexing the toes. Inhale, up, back, down. One more. Inhale, up, back, and down. And yes, we are going the other direction. Always good to even it out. It's a lot harder coming up and forward. Up and forward. One more time. Up and forward. Let's open the legs into a straddle. If you'd like, you can switch yourself so you're on the long side of your mat. Bringing your toes back towards the shins. Just taking some nice stretches, moving the side body. I'm going to twist towards my right leg and just start to walk out. Doesn't matter how far, we're opening up the groin and we're getting a nice twist through that left side back. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale all the way up. We walk over to the left side, and we'll do the same thing. So we're just going to twist towards the left side, pull the navel into spine, and start to reach out towards the leg. Again, trying to get that side back body. Breathing here. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's come all the way back up. Lifting the knees, bringing them in towards the chest. Wrap the arms around, sitting up tall, tucking the chin. Take a big inhale here. Exhale. One more of those. Inhale. Exhale. And let's take our feet as wide as our normal mat width. Turn them out 45 degrees, and we'll just do some seated cat-cow. So taking an exhale forward, inhale back, exhale coming forward, bringing our chest through our legs, inhale back, 3 more, exhale forward, inhale back, last time, exhale forward, and inhale back, rounding it out. Deep inhales and deep exhales. 4, 3, pull the navel into spine. 4, 2, and 1. Coming back to center. Let's transition to a downward facing dog. So hands are going to come right under the shoulders, tucking our toes, lifting our hips, and finding our down dog. Now maybe you want to pedal your feet. Maybe you come high on the balls of the feet and start to drop down. Whatever works for you. I love coming high on the balls of my feet and then dropping my heels down to stretch my calves. Because I walk so much, they really tighten up. And then maybe you're pedaling. You might even need some neck release. Whatever you need for the next 3 to 5 breaths, just find your moment here. Breathing here. 4, 3, 4, 2. On 1, I'm going to look between my hands and step my right foot behind my right wrist, coming up on my fingertips. And I'm just going to start to rock back and forth a little bit. Make sure that you're pulling your navel into spine as you are adding a little motion, a little more stretch, just warming up here. The next time you come forward into the lunge, let's stay in the lunge. We're going to drop the back knee down. If you want some padding, by all means. I'm going to untuck my toes. And then I'm going to widen my stance a little bit, about moving my right foot an inch over, pulling my navel to spine, and then lifting up into Anjaneyasana. Now, the key here is the tail comes in, navel comes to spine, hands can always be at heart center, or they can be up. If you'd like a little more lunge, you can move that front foot forward and come into a deeper lunge in this pose. Breathing here for 5. Push down into the top of the left foot and the sole of the right foot. There's your stability. With the navel engaged into the spine, you're using that lower core. For 3, 4, 2. On 1, let's bring our hands to heart center. I'll take my left elbow outside. I'm holding on so I can get a good grip, placing my hands together to lift myself off lift my chest off my thigh, and then looking over my back right arm. Breathing here for 5. I'm pushing down strongly into my feet, pushing my knee into my elbow, elbow into the knee. For 3, 4, 2. On 1, I'm going to pull my navel to spine and return all the way back into Anjaneyasana. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, hands come down, and I'm going to come to the come to the heel of my foot and stretch my toes back towards my right shin, pull my navel into spine, and take half Hamanasana over my right leg. So I'm really trying to square myself over that right leg. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's come back to our lunge, and then we'll step back to all fours and return to our downward facing dog. Let's take a big inhale here, big exhale. And then we're going to switch to the other side. I'm going to actually change my position on the mat so that I am facing you in the same type of direction. We'll step our left foot behind our left wrist, coming into that lunge, coming up on our fingertips. So we're using our feet to really hold us in the position. We're on the ball of the back right foot. And then we're just going to take some rocks here, opening up the hip. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Four, 3, 4, 2. And 1, coming back to the lunge, dropping my back knee, untucking those toes and really pushing the top of the foot into the mat. I'm going to just step the left foot over barely and rise into Anjaneyasana. And again, if it's better with the hands at heart center, by all means, or if you'd like a deeper lunge. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, let's bring the hands to heart center, and we're going to hook that right arm outside the left leg and then really push and lift using the top of the right foot as a rudder in the back for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, let's come all the way up and we'll spend 5 more breaths here. For 5, 4, 3, 2. On one, hands come down. We come to the heel of the left leg, lifting up and centering ourselves over the leg, pressing those left toes towards the left shin. Let's take half Hamanasana here. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gently going to come forward, place our hands down, and let's come to an all fours position. I want to take a couple of cat-cow here. So we'll inhale into our cow. Exhale, tucking the tail, beginning to round through the spine, head drops last. Inhaling and exhaling, being as expressive as you can. For 3, 4, 2. Last round. Coming to our all fours, we're going to come to a forearm plank. So dropping your elbows down underneath your shoulders, spanning your hands out like a number 11. We step our feet back and drop our tail down. We're looking between our thumbs, looking forward. Pull the navel into spine. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, we'll drop our knees. We're going to come to Sphinx pose. We're going to do this a few times, guys. Now, you're using the opposing forces, so you're pushing the hands away from you. You are not clenching your buttocks, but you're lifting your knees, pressing the tops of your feet into the mat, and then slightly dropping your chin to release the lower back. Breathing here for 3, 4, 2. On 1, we're going to tuck those toes, pull the navel into spine, coming right back into the forearm plank. Really broaden the shoulder blades for 5, 4. You can always drop your knees in this pose. 3, 2. On 1, knees come down if they're not already. Untuck toes. Coming into our Sphinx pose, dropping our chin to our chest. You can make a forearm plank, a modified forearm plank by simply dropping the knees, but in keeping the belly engagement and the arms. Breathing here for 3, 4, 2. Last time up into our forearm plank, tuck those toes, lift the knees, lift into your forearm plank. Pull in that core for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, we're going to lift our hips, start to walk our toes in, coming into a dolphin pose. You're looking back towards your belly or your knees. 4, 3, 4, 2. On 1, we're going to push into our hands and come into our downward facing dog. Let's take a big inhale here, big exhale, and let's start to walk our hands towards our feet, coming into a forward fold. Bend your knees as much as you need. Feet should be about hip distance or a little wider. Hands can cup opposite elbows or behind the knees, or they could just dangle. Let's lift those sits bones to the sky. Rock your weight towards the balls of the feet just slightly. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to let the arms dangle, and we're going to walk out back to that downward facing dog. Let's take a big inhale here, big exhale. Come to the balls of your feet and hop, step, walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And we'll reverse swan dive all the way up. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And let's take a moment here to just breathe. Settle in. How do you feel? Have you tucked your tail? Have you brought the belly in? Hands to heart center. And breathe. Before we head off on our next flow, let's take a little bit of balance. So I have a wall behind me. I like using walls. If you have a wall, a chair, a couch, an animal, feel free to use them to help you balance. Let's just take a simple tree pose. So first thing I want to do is tuck the tail, pull the navel into spine, and root down into one of my feet. Doesn't matter which one you choose. I'm going to lift that knee up and really feel the engagement of my lower belly. Open the knee out and find somewhere to set the foot. And now I start to fine tune. Drop the shoulders. Am I holding in engagement? Can I bring my hands to heart center? Or do I want to grow branches? Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I lift the knee, bring it forward, set it down, and I shake it all out. Forget about it. That side is done. You are not going to get that side back. Whatever happened, it has no bearing on the other side. So find the other foot, the one that you weren't standing on. Again, find that tailbone tucking, lifting the knee, finding your center, and then making the adjustments. Did I lose any engagement? I bring hands to heart center or grow branches. Dropping my shoulders back and down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lifting up, coming forward, shaking out, and getting ready. Let's take one half salutation and then we'll take a full salutation and move through our first flow. So coming to the top of our mat, palms out, tailbone down, navel in, shoulders back and down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale and fold, bend your knees as much as you need. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, sweep it all the way back up and hands through heart center. This one will meet in down dog. You do not have to take the vinyasa, but for those of you who are, maybe a double chaturanga. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, find your way to down dog. I will step to plank, drop my knees, lower down, and take my cobra pose. And meet you in downward facing dog. Checking in, am I dropping my shoulder blades back and down? Am I pulling my navel into spine and allowing my head to fall freely through my arms? Let's take a big inhale here. Big exhale. On your next inhale, right leg lifts, right leg opens. Maybe twirling the ankle, maybe taking huge circles. And then squaring off and stepping through, finding your crescent pose. You could always drop the back knee and do this in Anjaneyasana. So I've rooted my feet and sweeping up into crescent. Now, tailbone tucks, shoulders back and down. Hands could be at heart center or up overhead. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, let's open to water wheel. Right arm back, left arm forward. And then we'll inhale right back to our crescent pose. This is balance, this is core. Exhale, open. Inhale back. This time when we exhale and open, we'll stay for 5. Exhale and open. Maybe you drop back right hand to left leg and get a little bit of a twist. Breathing here for 5. 4. 3. 2. On 1, we're going to rise back to crescent. And now let's open up into warrior 2. So your back left foot is going to pivot down and you'll open up. For me, to stay facing you, I'm going to change directions so that you can see my face. Now, tailbone tucks. This is really important. That will help you sync. Are you tracking? Right knee behind you. Is the ball of the back foot firmly into the mat, as is the pinky toe edge? Are you looking out over your right hand and breathing? For 5. 4. 3. 2. On 1, reverse the front palm and reverse the warrior. Sink deeply into that front leg. Opening up for 5. 4. 3. 2. On 1, let's come back to center. We're going to straighten the front leg and reach out into triangle. Now, try to use your core in your triangle. You don't even need that hand. Or if you are using the hand, just allow it to be a touch point. Use the core to keep you in the pose. You could always drape the back arm behind you. Breathing here for 5. 4. 3. 2. On 1, let's start to bend and come back to our warrior 2, and then we'll straighten the leg again and reverse our triangle. So just a nice transition where we don't feel unbalanced and we're not overly stressing the hamstrings and ligaments. Breathing here for 5. 4. 3. 2. Keep the legs where they are. On 1, join the hands. Slight bend in the front leg so that we can pivot the right foot so you're facing the long edge of your mat. Let's bring our hands to our hips, and then again, that tailbone tucking, navel to spine. Inhale, open all the way up, looking towards the ceiling, and then exhale, soften the knees, and fold forward into your forward fold. Start to pigeon toe your feet a little more. Hands come right underneath the shoulders. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Walking the hands back so that the heel of the hands starts to come in line with the heel of the foot. We're pulling ourselves in towards the ground. The key is not to get your head down to the ground. It's to feel a good stretch in the hamstrings. 4, 3. 4, 2. And 1. Let's inhale all the way up. And we're going to start to walk our hands towards our right foot and step back to plank pose. Let's take a big inhale here. Exhale. We'll drop our right knee, kickstand it out, pivot the left down, and take a modified side plank. You might even lift the back left leg, or for those of you who would like full side plank, go for it. Maybe you take the arm up and over. Breathing here for 5. 4. 3. 2. On 1, hands come down, back to your plank. And if you'd like, you can take a chaturanga here. Inhale. And let's all meet in a child's pose. Exhale. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Just breathe here, extending and opening. If you would like to throw in some chaturangas or a down dog, you are welcome to it. 4, 3. 4, 2. On 1. We're going to come back to our down dog. We get to lift that left leg up, open up. Maybe making some big hip circles. And then squaring off, pulling the belly in, stepping our left foot up, coming to the ball of our right foot, and rising into our crescent pose. Sink deeply into that front leg. Pull the navel into spine. Arms can be up, they could be at heart center. Breathing here for 4, 3, 2. On 1, exhale, opening into our water wheel. And then inhale, back to crescent. This is about using your core for balance. Exhale, remember you could have that back knee down if that works for you. And then inhale, this time we stay for 5. Exhale. If you'd like, you could take the back left hand to the right leg. Sink deeply into that front left leg. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to sweep back to crescent and open into warrior 2, whereas I'm going to switch legs so that I'm facing you. Sink deeply into the left leg, open the left knee, groin is open, tailbone sinks, and we're lifting in the back arch. Dropping our shoulders down. There is a softness and an energy here. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Flipping the front palm. Let's reverse that warrior. Stay firmly into that bend in that front left knee. Opening up, back leg is strong and straight for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're straighten the front leg. Pull our navel in and start to shoot our back right hip so that we can open up into the triangle, remembering that this bottom hand is really just a light guide. You could always have that top arm back, and you certainly could be looking down at your left foot. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, let's bend that front knee. And then we're going to reverse our triangle. We'll just straighten it as we move into the pose. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Keeping the legs the same. On 1, we sweep our arm up, and then we start to turn our left foot to meet our right foot. Hands come to heart center and to our hips. Pulling the navel into spine. Inhale, opening, getting that beautiful heart opener. This time we're going to end up twisting, so we'll exhale and fold. Hands come right down underneath our face. Leave your right hand planted under your face and leave your left arm behind the right arm, reaching towards the right ankle, shin, or thigh. And then start to pull yourself in. If you'd like to liberate the right arm and take it behind the back, reaching for the left hip, that's fine. If that seems too much, you could just bring that right hand to the right leg as well, or keep it under the face for some stability. Breathe in here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's just unweave all of this. Coming back to center. We'll take an inhale, half lift, exhale, fold, and we'll do that again just to wash that side out. Inhale, half lift, and exhale, fold. Now taking the right arm behind the left, reaching towards the left ankle, shin, thigh, whatever you want. Starting to pull ourselves in and maybe sweeping the left hand up and over, or just bringing it to the leg or leaving it where it was. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, exhale, and starting to walk yourself towards your left foot. Let's come to our plank pose. Taking a big inhale here, exhale, you can drop that left knee and kick it out like a kickstand and lift the right leg, or if you are in the mood to take a full side plank, maybe you bring the arm up and over, breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hand comes down. Let's walk our feet in a few inches, coming into a shorter downward facing dog, and then take your feet as wide as the mat and reach the arms out, getting a beautiful chest opener and a stretch through your back. So the shorter down dog is going to get into the upper back and give you a beautiful stretch. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's come high on the balls of the feet, and let's see if we can jump our feet outside of our hands. So deep bend and coming into a squatting position. I will meet you here in a Malasana. So if this is uncomfortable, you could always place a pad, a blanket, rolled up towel, couple of cushions, and you could sit on those. We're pushing our elbows into our knees, lifting our chest up, and using that action of our elbows to help our inner groin. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Good news. On 1, have a seat. And bring your knees in. Wrapping your arms around your knees. Sitting up tall and tucking your chin like we did early. Just to relieve the lower back. Because we still have a few things to work on. Let's breathe here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to take boat pose because we all need to have a little recreation. So your boat could have your knees bent, your knees bent and your toes flexed, or your heels could actually be in the mat and you could be pushing in, engaging the lower belly. So it doesn't have to be miserable. If you do straighten your legs, keep your toes at eye level. I like keeping my knees bent because I can sit taller in the pose and use more of my core instead of my upper thighs. My hands are going to go to the right, my knees are going to go to the left. I'm going to try to keep my knees together, and I'm going to breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, come back through center, take a big inhale. Exhale, hands to the left, knees to the right for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, back to center. Inhale, arms up, legs maybe extend for a breath, and then let's come into a butterfly pose. So I'm going to take my peace fingers around my big toes so I can sit up as tall as I possibly can. Tuck my chin to my chest and just take some deep inhales and deep exhales. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, I'm going to start to come forward with a nice long spine, and then just fold forward to the best of my ability. Maybe you even stretch your arms out long. You're attempting to take your knees to the opposite sides of the room. You want your back to be as long as it possibly can be, so it doesn't matter how far you're coming down, just that you're stretching here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's come all the way back up. And then we'll take our hands to our outer knees, bring our knees in, and let's all come down on our back. We're going to have a couple of back bends. So if you have some cushions here, there's a really great thing you can do for your cushions. Let me grab one of mine. You could take your cushion, place it perpendicular to the back of your mat, and you could lay out on the cushion in a beautiful modified fish pose. You could even take butterfly legs. For those of you who are going to follow me into bridge pose, you could again use your cushion underneath the sacrum to take a supported bridge. I'm going to send mine off to the side here, and I'm going to take a traditional bridge. So my knees are hip distance apart, my 2 fists. My heels are close to my buttocks, and my hands are going to come down right at my hips. I'm going to splay out my hands so I have a good base. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, interlace my fingers, start to tuck my shoulder blades in. And then I'm really rooting down into my feet and keeping my buttocks nice and soft so I'm lifting with my front body. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, I'll just slowly start to work down from the upper to the mid to the lower back. And then I'll sway my feet side to side. Or I should say sway my knees, not my feet. Coming back to center. You could choose to take this, or if you have a full Urdhva Dhanurasana, full back bend, by all means. Or you could choose to use a different pose here in the back bend family. So I'll root down into my feet, lift my hips, interlace my hands, tuck my shoulders, and start to breathe. My chin is tucked towards my chest, but I still want to maintain the curve at my upper neck. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands come down and hug knees into chest, rocking a little side to side on the lower back. We'll take a nice twist here. I'm going to describe the usual supine twist. If you have another twist you like, feel free. My arms come out like a T. Pull my navel into spine, and I'll drop my knees towards the right. Looking out over my long left arm. Maybe my hand is coming up towards the left thigh. And breathe. Deep inhales, deep exhales. 4, 3, 4, 2, and 1. Let's come back to center. We're going to head off towards the left. Knees out towards the left, arm out towards the right. And just taking deep inhales and deep exhales. And slowly coming back to center. Hugging the knees into the chest. If you would like here to take some rocks along your spine, going front to back, That's fine if that feels terrible to you. Where we're ending up is downward facing dog. Now, I'm going to take us to pigeon. If you prefer pigeon on your back, you don't even need to leave your back. So maybe a couple of rocks here, and then finding yourself into down dog, maybe using a vinyasa along the way or not. Lifting our right leg up, opening up, and then stepping our right knee behind our right wrist, scooting the left leg back, and then maybe readjusting with the heel in closer to the body or away, depending on your hips. We want to be as square as we possibly can. We look back to make sure we're not sickling that heel in or out. And then we start to reach out forward, keeping that nice long line of energy. We'll stay here about a minute or a minute and a half. Having said that, it's really important that when you come into pigeon, that you find a pose that you can be comfortable in for that time period with as little fidgeting as needed, which usually means start with a pose about 50% of your ability and allow your body to take you farther into the pose with your breath. You're not getting any brownie points making yourself miserable. In fact, if you're making yourself miserable, you're defeating the purpose of your breath and of your yoga practice. So let's just stay here in quiet contemplation. And yes, your thoughts are going to start to arise. Probably, oh my gosh, that right hip. It's okay. Find a place where you can breathe. It should not be painful, but you should be feeling the pose. Breathing here for 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Start to bring your hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to tuck our back toes. Begin to engage our belly and sweep that back leg up, opening up, shaking out, doing what you need to do to find your energy here to release the tension that was in that leg. And then when you're ready, let's open left leg and bring left knee towards left wrist, left ankle towards right wrist, and we start to settle into the pose. We check back and make sure that we're not sickling. We want that heel straight up. I'm going to make just a little adjustment here. Flexing the toes on the front leg, and then reaching out and breathing. And again, being here a minute to a minute and a half, we don't want to overemphasize the pose initially. We want to allow the body to melt into the pose. And it probably doesn't feel the same way on this side as it did on the other. And that's okay. If you have props, I hope you're using them and that you're breathing. breathing here for 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Let's bring our hands underneath our shoulders. We're going to tuck our back toes and sweep that leg up and open it up. One last opportunity to take a vinyasa if you would like. We're going to meet on our backs. And either find our way into a inversion to Shavasana, an inversion as Shavasana, or find your way directly into Shavasana now. So I'm going to give you a choice to do any of those options. As you settle into what will become your Shavasana, I will give you about a minute or so, and then I will just gently remind everyone, if you'd like to move to traditional Shavasana, to please do so. You also have an opportunity to take meditation. So whatever suits you, I'm going to actually set a cushion here so I can have a nice straight spine, and I'm going to sit peaceful. So taking a big inhale here, opening your mouth and exhaling. Allow yourself just this moment here to find some peace. If you would like to transition to a Shavasana pose at this time, please do so. If you would like to continue where you're at, by all means. And letting your breath go now into your natural, normal breath. And again, as the thoughts arise, simply tell them later, they'll be back. Most definitely. Let's begin to take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Waking up the body. Maybe you're even using audible exhales. And we'll wiggle our fingers and our toes. We'll be making some wrist motions in one direction and the other. Gently taking larger motions with our arms, maybe stretching up, turning the palms to the sky, making some side to side motions, extending the legs long, pointing and flexing the toes. And then finally hugging your knees into your chest and maybe giving a few rocks side to side. Before settling into a fetal pose, either on the right or left side, doesn't matter. That moment of transition. Our lives are spent in transition. This entire COVID-19 transition. We are transitioning from where we were to where we're going. And the majority of what we're doing is spending it in that transition. So learn to accept transitions as just a natural part of life. And gently find yourself to a seated pose. It's whatever is comfortable for you. Eyes gently closed or just soft. And take a moment. You would never guess that the world is in crisis from the beauty that you see outside your window. It is a gorgeous night. Low humidity. It is beautiful. Take that as positive in your life. We cannot control anything right now. That seems to be the problem. We just can't control anything, and it's making us very anxious, and we're doing a lot of things that we probably normally don't do. Life will settle at some point. Let's try to find our equilibrium at this point. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Namaste. And I will unmute you in a moment. Let's see. Unmute all. Come on. There we all are.
Thank you, Jennifer. That was wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Hey.
I'm glad to have you back, Shelley. We need you back in class.
So good to see you and hear your voice. Wonderful class. I needed that. It's been so long. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, JFK. See you tomorrow.
I will see you tomorrow, Liz.
Yeah. And now, thank you, Jennifer.
Bye.
Bye.
So I see smiles. Smiles are good, guys.
Good night.
Good night. I will see you guys all later. Take care of yourselves.
You too.